gonna keep my connection here, and then once I log into the other one, but I'm gonna mute myself because so I don't get the feedback.
You got it. We're live on YouTube.
Okay, Mariana,
Sí.
you want to give us a translation, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Para todos los que quieran escuchar esta reunión en español, vamos a poder hacer un clic en una burbujita que dice Spanish, según el idioma de preferencia. Si no, lo pueden escuchar en inglés. Gracias.
Perfect, Mariana.
Thank you.
I'm putting you in the Spanish channel now. You're good to go.
Gracias, Mariana. Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our special meeting of the West Sonoma County Union High School District on this beautiful day of, what day is it? I don't even know anymore. 12/4, Friday, the 4th of December. You wouldn't know by looking outside that it was December. It looks like it's springtime. Okay, so we're calling the meeting to order. Karen will be doing roll call as we proceed. And with that, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. As usual, please look to the right, hand over your heart, and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And is there any discussion on the agenda? Hold on, I gotta close a door. I don't know if it helps any, but I've got workers here working on my bathroom and they're making a lot of noise. Okay, roll call vote. Diane Landry.
Here.
Angie Lewis.
Here.
Kelly Noe.
Here.
Ted Walker.
Here.
Jeannie Fernandez, aye. Jeannie Broom.
Aye.
Tori McCullough.
Aye.
Thank you guys very much. And with that, we're going to open the public hearing with regards to the notice of public hearing regarding calling an election for the parcel tax. This is just a public hearing. Tony, do you want to introduce the public hearing and then I can open it, or do you just want me to open the public hearing?
I think you can go ahead and open the public hearing.
Okay, public hearing is open. If there are members of the public that would like to speak with regards to this public hearing, please raise your hand in the participant list. I'll give you all some time to do that.
No hands raised.
Okay. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And next, it will be consideration of approval of resolution number 12, December 2020-2021, ordering an election for the purpose of submitting to the qualified electors of the district the question of levying an education parcel tax upon each parcel in the district for educational purposes and establishing the specifications of the election order. Can I get a motion on this, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Diane. A second, please.
Second.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Tony and to Greg. Thank you guys very much for being here this morning.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This is our the parcel tax resolution for the parcel tax that we had talked about in previous meetings. I think I'll let Greg go ahead and talk about the specifics of the resolution before we read it for you.
Good morning. Nice to see you guys again.
Morning, Greg.
Hey there. So this resolution is similar to all the other resolutions that you've seen. You know, when it comes to parcel taxes or even bonds, where the first little bunch is all whereases, which is pretty much just boilerplate bond attorney or parcel tax attorney language. The only really important component to the resolution is when you turn to Exhibit A. We're talking about the introduction, that's the 75 words. We talk about what's the purpose of the parcel tax. My recollection on previous board meetings is what I put in there for those bullet points and for the 75 words. The key takeaway, as I said, was $48, 3 years, how much it's raising. And then, as I said, those were the bullet points. Protect music, art, dance shop, culinary, and other career technical programs. Retain certificate and classified staff. Then maintain small class size. So as I said, it's, you know, I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is what you guys have seen before. If you guys want to make some tweaks to it, this is the opportunity to make tweaks. If you wanted to, you know, for some of the language, or if you want to let it rip, there it is.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Greg. Okay, I'm going to open this up to our public who might like to speak to the parcel tax language, and then I'll open it up to the board for discussion after we hear from the public. If you would like to speak on the language, please raise your hand.
I have one commenter.
Okay,
How are we allowing the full 3 minutes?
sure.
1 second. And our first speaker is Debbie Ramirez. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Debbie, you there? I can see you unmuted yourself, but we can't hear you though. She's gone right now. Debbie has left the building or the Zoom. I think she had to bow out. I have no additional speakers. Can you guys not hear me?
Jeannie?
There. I can't hear
Sorry,
Jeannie.
You can't hear me. That's
Wait, oh,
sorry.
Debbie's back. Debbie's back. Let's try this
Okay.
one more time. 1 second. Debbie, go ahead and unmute yourself. There we go.
Okay, you can hear me. Okay, I was going to say you probably I don't need the 3 minutes, but for all of those technology issues, it probably took 3 minutes. I am just wondering if the board might want to consider in the language in this parcel tax to include something about striving to keep the comprehensive sites open. I know that's a big concern in the community. There's a lot of talk about, what exactly is this for? Is it just kicking the can down the road? And it's really sort of in line with the TOT in that it's a temporary bridge funding issue. And that doesn't appear in the actual language. And I just think it would be easier for the community ultimately to understand the whole package if there was some language about striving to keep campuses open. I'm not sure if Greg has something to say about whether that kind of language can be in a parcel tax, but I just wanted to put it out there. That's all.
Thank you very much, Debbie. Okay, is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak before we move to the board? Okay, I don't see anybody. So with that, I'm going to open it up for the board to have a conversation. And is there somebody that would like to lead this off? Kelly, go ahead.
Do you have any, and do you want to address that last comment that was made by Debbie? Was around why that
Yes,
might not be a good idea?
yes, you, Greg.
Yeah, that's you. It helps us with our language.
I've been scolded by Kelly in the past for speaking out of turn, so I'm not. When she speaks, I just sit back and wait till someone calls my name. So when it comes to, as I said, I've heard so many different messages from so many, when I'm hearing all the stuff from everyone, and I've thought that I heard, we don't want to necessarily mention the word consolidation, but when you're talking about, well, maybe striving to keep the school, I mean, I'm open to that if the board wants it. As I said, this is pretty standard vanilla 75 words. We do have room for additional words. I was counting the words. So if you wanted to add something to say and strive for this, I'm not opposed to that. Part of the goal, my opinion is for this thing to win with the TOT, you're going to have to run a pretty good campaign. And I would assume that the campaign committee's message to the whole community is going to be that exact message right there. So while it's not necessary, the community is going to know what this parcel tax is for. Do you want to put it in the language? Up to you guys. It's not going to make you lose votes by throwing in a bullet point or even throwing in an extra 6 words or something, but it's just whatever you guys want to do.
Thank you, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody's thoughts on that? Hearing none. Okay, crickets. Angie.
Excuse me. I think that there seems to be in the public 2 differing views on how to proceed. So I kind of agree with what Greg said in using that in the campaign in the arena. This is more, excuse me, I would think, I think what Greg said is probably a better idea to proceed and leave the language so that, I don't know.
I was just going to say the same thing. My concern is that it might actually be polarizing, and we might find ourselves with, because we kind of have some differing camps here, and I don't want to make people feel like they're, oh, this is just so they can keep that open, or, oh, this is so they can do, I think we need to keep it pretty vanilla, my opinion. Other thoughts? Kelly, go ahead.
So I think I would agree. I feel like I know, and Greg, you said this before, and I know, we've gotten coaching from other people on this. What you say in the ballot measure and then what you actually say in the campaign can be 2 different things, because in the campaign, you can tailor your message to the specific audience that you're talking to. And that gets to Jeannie's point, depending on who we're talking to, whatever that message is that will resonate with them, we can kind of use that. I think for me, I definitely would want to stay away from the word consolidation in any type of ballot measure, because I would just be concerned that is such a polarizing word. And I would be concerned that if we have that in there, people are just gonna get anxious when they even if it's helping to not do consolidation, that they would see that word and get concerned and get fear and not want to vote for it. So I think having the language in the ballot measure as, clean as possible. And I think we get to that by saying small class sizes, because, if we are supporting small class sizes, we need to have facilities to support small class sizes, right? So I think we still get to that point without making it anything that potentially might be contentious for any particular voter. So I agree. I think that keeping the language as is makes sense for me, and I'll be, voting yes on moving forward with this.
Thank you, Kelly, very much.
And one additional comment, sorry, see, Greg, I do cut you off. No, you're not.
Yes, Kelly, go ahead.
I do want to just mention that Greg, I heard your comment about running a pretty aggressive campaign, and that was going to be my other question. So outside of this issue, my other question was going to be more to Tony, just to get a sense of, usually Jim always is amazing and steps up. And we had Mary last time, who was an amazing person on the campaign committee, community side. And so I just have some questions about that piece around, it seems to me like there's going to be support to put this on the ballot. And what is that going to look like on the committee campaign side? Because, we said this at the beginning, last year, it barely passed. I think there is some voter fatigue out there just in general. So I think we are going to have to be pretty aggressive. If we get the message to our voters, generally they do vote yes. So I think that's the big thing, is we have to get our message to the voters so they know to get out and vote yes. So that was my other piece of my question. All right, great. Sorry.
No. My only question, I'm looking at the language, and I know this, and if you look at the 75 words, retain teachers and stuff and keep class size low. I can read it either way. Do you want it to say keep class size low or keep class sizes low?
Sizes. With an S.
Sizes.
Okay. So if you guys do approve this, there needs to be that tweak to that word right there.
Okay.
Where's that at, Greg?
At the very, very last page, and it's just the 75-word ballot language, where it says ballot measure, abbreviated form to renew and provide, blah, 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 blah. And then right in the middle it says, and keep class size low. And so I've seen it both ways, where it's class size or class sizes. I tend to be more of class sizes.
Because you're talking about more than one class. I mean, I think that's, Diane, grammatically, you're always our good grammar, because you're talking about more than one class, because so it'd be sizes.
It would be, yeah. It would be sizes, and you always have to think of who your audience is. And I think that would work better with the community for understanding what our point is.
Okay.
And then Tony, do you have a sense on my other question around what this is going to look like on the community side?
I have no idea, in all honesty. I reached out to Jim last night, but realizing that as I was writing the email, I realized that he probably has a difficult time reading it since his issues with his eyes. So I was going to follow up today with a phone call to see if that's something that he's at all interested in doing again.
Yeah, the only thing you probably want to, when it comes to that, when I say like running a good campaign, like a November presidential election, you kind of don't even have to do anything. You just let that thing just kind of run through. When you're talking special election, and especially when you're running a campaign side by side with the TOT, there needs to be some coordination between the two. So you're not mailing, TOT is not mailing something here, your district's mailing it. It needs to be coordinated. That's all. That's the most important part of the entire campaign, in my opinion, would be make sure that your messaging and your timing is the same.
Can I just follow up a question on that, Greg, as the generally our consultant, would you be willing to work with whoever that consultant is on the TOT side? Because I think some of that coordination would have to happen at that level. Like if we're putting together a mailer and they're putting together a mailer, we would want those mailers, like you said, I mean, we want those timing of those mailers of how they drop to be lined up. And
Kelly, I'm a lone wolf. I don't work well with others. Yes, of course.
Yes, of course. I like that.
Yeah,
Thanks,
of course.
Greg. Ted?
Agree with keeping the ballot simple. I agree with making it plural in sizes. I'm in agreement with all my board members.
Thank you, Ted. Diane, anything say you?
I don't have any anything additional to add.
Okay.
I'm in agreement with what everybody has said. So
Okay.
yeah.
How about Jeannie, Broom, or Satori? Anything that you guys would like to add, or any comments that you would like to add to the conversation?
Well, I mean, I understand the concern around the language of the ballot measure. But I think at this point, I'm willing to make it as palatable as possible for as many people as possible. I think it'll be easier to convince people to vote for it in a more personable, one-on-one manner. I'll Zoom with anyone and give them my case. So I think I'm willing to do that. So I'm willing, and I'm sure so many other people in the community are too. So I'm willing to, I think the class sizes bit is good. I appreciate that.
Good, thanks, Jenny. Or Jeannie, sorry. Too many Jeannies and Jennies here. Yes, Ted?
My only worry, if Jim's health is not up to it, then I'm worried. So, yeah, that's just a comment.
Well, hopefully if Jim's not up to it, that there's someone else out there that will step up and maybe with his help take lead on this.
Because
I know we still have our campaign, well, not our, be careful language. The community, the campaign side has the account still open. And I mean, there's a lot of structure that's already set up that exactly, Jeannie, if Jim isn't able to do it, hopefully he would kind of, hand that structure over to whoever was willing to kind of chair and take that lead role. Because I think there may still be money in that account.
I think there still is some money in that account, yeah. Okay, we do have a couple. Yes, Diane, go ahead. Sorry.
In my mind's eye, I can hear Jim's voice saying, well, we don't have, Tony, did you want to say something?
I think Jim might be in the audience right now. I see a Jim wanting to speak.
He is. That's him. I was just about to mention.
Jim, okay, Jenny, would you bring Jim in for us?
Jim, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. There you go.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Jim.
Hi. Tony, I did get your note last night, but I wanted to come home and think about this before I said anything. Frankly, I'm still thinking about it. I'm perfectly capable of seeing things. The only thing I can't read is small text. I'm still servicing computers and doing that kind of thing. So I'm not blind by any stretch of the imagination, just somewhat visually impaired. I'd like to talk with you, Tony, a little bit later on. I heard you were going to send me a call, and I'd like to talk with you about it. I think there are some issues with this campaign that are quite different. Let me also address the dollars and cents issue. There's about $153.02 in that account right now. And it's tied to a state campaign committee and all sorts of other stuff. People were asking me last night about setting up a new account, and some people were asking about trying to tie it into nonprofits You can't do all that. It's got to be a standalone account. I mean, Greg can address this issue better than I can. But anyway, that account does exist, but there isn't much in it. Don't count on it as startup funding, because the only reason we left money in there was thinking that there would not be a parcel tax for some time. There's a $50 annual fee has to be paid. In fact, I just sent the $50. If David Stetcher's out there, he and I just signed the checks that go out on an annual basis. And then there's all the reporting requirements that go along with this. Again, after January 1st, I'll be filling out all the forms for the county and what have you. All that structure's still in place, and the only charge for that account will be the $50 since June 1st or July 1st. So it's there. I'm quite happy to help and direct, but I want to make sure that there's unity in what's going on. I don't want factions. The last thing this campaign needs is factions pulling in 20 different directions. And I had some of that going on in November, and it made my life sheer hell, to put it bluntly. So I want to get that addressed up front if I'm going to work on this campaign.
Okay, Jim, that's great. I know that anything you can do will be so appreciated, and your guidance will be just paramount, I think. So let's let you talk to Tony later, and then we can readdress this again at another time. But thank you so much, Jim, and I'm glad that you're doing well enough. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, we do have a couple of other hands raised. So at the board's pleasure, are we good with taking further comments? Okay, Jenny, go ahead.
Right now, we only have one. We had like 3 a few minutes ago. So if you guys want to talk, will you raise your hand?
Adam, I saw your hand was raised. I hope you come back and talk to us.
There we go. All right, we are going to pull in Heather Dale Best. Heather, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good morning. Thank you for your time. I haven't seen the verbiage, and I had a question about where the access to the verbiage was. I don't know if I missed that or not, but I would love to see it and read it, or I don't know if it was read before I jumped on this morning. So this may or may not be addressed, but I do think that it's important that we mention the names of the schools that are being affected. That did not happen with Measure B, and I don't think that benefited us as we sit here today. I know that deep down the purpose is to create of this tax and this election piece is to create a bridge that will buy us some time so that our whole community can have input and truly work together. I think that the board has acknowledged, and I think we as a community understand that, you know, there were opportunities for us to work closer together before we found ourselves in this situation. And I understand that there's commitment to kind of move forward in a positive direction. So I think I appreciate keeping the verbiage palatable. I agree very much with Jeannie Broom. She's an amazing soul and one of my personal heroes. And I will Zoom with anyone. I know many community members that will. And so I understand that there's kind of a fine line to make it clear, but I also think it's very important that it be very honest and clear in what the true purpose of the verbiage is. Mr. Parks, actually, I agreed with him last time that he spoke as well. You know, he said we have to work together. We really have to look at the numbers and all of those things. And this is an opportunity for us truly to work together. And he should know, you know, there was a time a while back where his community rescued his business. I was part of that and proud to do so. Imagine if that could happen on a larger scale for our kids and our school district. And I just think it's really important we keep our focus even down to the details and the verbiage of this information going out to the public as clear and honest as we can. Thank you guys so much for your time and effort. I appreciate it. I'm good.
Thank you, Heather. I do want to say that I think there's a clear case that Heather just made that not everybody knows what or who West Sonoma County Union High School District is. And I'm wondering if putting in our 3 schools' names somewhere in there is not a bad idea, because then it makes it very clear it becomes a little more personal, so to speak. It's not just whoever this West Sonoma County High School District is. Because many people, I don't think, really realize when I tell people, you know, that I'm a trustee with the West Sonoma County Union High School District, they go, "What schools? Who does that serve?" They think it's all of West County, actually. So that's just my thought. We can come back to that in a minute. I know that.
You just muted yourself.
Sorry, I know we have another speaker.
Yes, Adam Parks, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Morning. So I think one thing that's important to keep in mind here is that the frustration that the community has shown already in some comments on social media and whatnot with the idea of putting another parcel tax up, and I'm all for it. Anything we can do to bring more money into the district, I am 100% supporter of. I think that the frustration is that there is a huge misconception as to the way the funds were used last time. I think that there is a huge opinion out there that there has been poor management of our budget in the past. Those are the things that we are going to have to fight. The consolidation issue is widely known as what's going to happen if. I think from the standpoint of passing a parcel tax, it makes a lot more sense to place it in front of the community as a means to finally address our budget issues. And that is going to be what wins the day. I don't believe that, you know, addressing the individual schools. The previous caller talked about the community rallying for my business several years ago, and she's brought that up a couple times now. I think one of the big reasons I was successful with that was because I didn't polarize half my community before I asked for help. And that's what we're doing right now. We have two very big factions ready to have a civil war with each other and calling each other names and threatening lawsuits and blah, blah, blah. That is going to kill this before it ever gets on the ballot. So until we address that issue and until we present this to the community in a fashion that's going to be attractive to the community as fixing the actual problem, not what the solution is, I think that we are just spinning wheels. 100% behind the parcel tax, will advocate for it, just like I did on Measure B. I was on the executive committee of Measure B. But I think we really need to focus on what the community wants to see out of our district, not what we want as a result. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much, Adam. Very well said. Doesn't look like we have any other hands right now. Any further thoughts from the trustees? Does anybody have any thought about my comment about the 3 schools? Yeah, Diane?
I totally agree with you, Janie. I've been on this board for 16 years. And when I say the high schools in West County or the West Sonoma County High School District, it's like, huh? But everybody knows El Molino, Annalee, and Laguna, what those, schools are. So I think that would be wise to put the names of the schools in the measure.
Can, Greg, do you have a thought of where we could squeak that in? Oh, can't hear you, Greg.
Sorry. So it's El Molino, Annalee, and Laguna High Schools.
Yes.
Okay. So we can tuck it in to renew and provide stable funding that the state cannot take away at El Molino, Annalee, and Laguna High Schools, protect music, art, dance, shop, culinary, and other career technical programs, retain teachers / staff. I'm removing the word "and" because I need to gain a word. And keep class sizes low, sheltered, blah, 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 blah. So I can tuck it in right after away, or I can tuck it in to renew and provide stable funding at, then I can name the high schools that the state cannot take away. So it's either after away or after funding.
I like after funding, to renew and provide stable funding at El Molino, Annalee, and Laguna High Schools. Or what I tend to do is put them alphabetically. That way there's no concern about who's being ahead of the other. A, E, and L, right?
You would hope.
Well,
I agree.
That's how I try to look at it. I also think you could also get rid of the word and before keep. You could just say keep class sizes low. I don't think you actually have to use that word and if you needed that word.
Okay.
Is everybody, I mean, I've spoke on it, Diane spoke on it. What are other people's thoughts? If we can fit it in, does everybody, can y'all give me a thumbs up?
Sounds good. I like where you said to put it.
Diane, what about you? Grammatically, you think that sounds okay? All right, good. She's our grammatical expert.
I'm in support of it. I think it does. I agree, Jeannie. I think it does personalize it a little bit and defines, because I agree. I don't know that everyone
really
tracks who the West Sonoma County Union High School District is and what schools that includes. So if we have the space, I think it's a good idea to include it.
Okay. I don't know why we haven't ever thought about that before, but it might be something we should remember moving forward, because I think it might help. Okay.
Jeannie?
Yes, Diane.
Heather asked where she could get the wording for the resolution, so we could. It's at our on our website, and I don't know how specific to get about that.
It's part of the agenda packet. So she goes to where our regular agendas are posted, and you scroll down, then you link to it.
Very good. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we've made a few tweaks here and everybody seemed to be okay with those minor tweaks. Tony, what about you? You okay with that?
Yeah, I just need to clarify because we need to drive this to the voter registration immediately after this meeting. So we need to make sure what this language is. So you're saying, and Karen, I'm going to make sure Karen gets it. So it's going to say to renew and provide stable funding at Annalee, El Molino, and Laguna High Schools that the state cannot take away, protect music, art, dance, shop, culinary, and other career technical programs, retain teachers/staff, keep class sizes low. And then the rest is the same. Shall the West Sonoma County Union High School District measure to levy $48 per parcel annually for 3 years, be adopted, raising $1,150,000 annually, have no funds for administrator salaries, provide a senior citizen exemption, and have all funds stay local. Okay, did you get that, Karen? Okay. And that change would need to be made on Exhibit B1. It also needs to be made on page A1, Exhibit A at the very top under Introduction. Okay.
Okay. There we go. All right. So is there anybody else out there with a hand raised? Oh yeah, we do have a couple of folks. All right. Is it cool with the board? We let Jim and Leslie McCormick speak? Okay. Yeah, Jenny, would you mind bringing them in? That's fine.
All right, Jim, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, my only comment at this point is remember what happened with Measure B. Please read, reread, and maybe have two people read this statement before it's submitted to the county. Remember last time we lost a couple of pages and it was a real nightmare trying to change things. There are deadlines associated with changes, and last time we got ourselves into some trouble. So please read and reread it before you submit it. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim. And Leslie McCormick.
Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, I'm a little late to the party. I was at work, or I'm at work. Thank you, Jim. That's definitely something I would like to echo. Also, if it hasn't been mentioned already, I do like the new wording. It's a little, makes me a little nervous that it doesn't say bridge funding to keep schools open, but I guess it can't say too many things because obviously programs are important, but a school remaining open is even more important, I guess, if you ask some of us. But I appreciate this and changing and naming the schools. It's really important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Looks like we have another hand.
1 second. And Patrick, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello. Hey, I just had a couple quick questions. I know originally we talked about the cost of putting it on the ballot, and then there was some discussion about possibly grant funding from the county that we could apply for. I never really heard if that was a for sure thing or if that was a possible thing, and would we be splitting the cost with the TOT ballot going on the measure? I know original estimates were about 190K to get this on the ballot. I think that's probably been cut in half with the TOT, I would assume. I'm just kind of curious about the cost and where we're at with that, because I didn't hear a definite answer on the grant. I heard we could apply. I heard the max was 30 grand, and then then maybe we could get more if we applied over time. So I was wondering if we could answer that question for me. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Would you like for me to answer that question? I can answer that question. I submitted the grant this morning before this board meeting. And I asked for the maximum amount. So we'll see what happens.
Come here, come here.
Any other questions from the public? So I think we are, Jeannie, I think we're ready to vote. Do you want me to?
No, I'm good. I just had a couple little visitors poke their head in. Always welcome, makes me smile.
Restate the motion with those changes for the people that made the motions.
Okay, that's right. We do need to get, well, I don't know that we need to amend the motion because we didn't make the motion on the exact wording. So,
should we though?
We could.
I would feel more comfortable that.
Okay, we can do that.
Discussed and revised and read by the superintendent.
Okay. All right. So, who I can't remember who made the motion. So
it was Trustee Landry and Trustee Lewis.
Okay. So Diane, are you willing to amend your motion as read by the superintendent?
Yes, I amend my
with the changes
as read by the superintendent.
Okay. And
can I interrupt? I'm sorry. Karen said that she counted the words and it came up with 78. We can't have 78 words. We need 75. So we need to just make that Karen
the name of the school district counts as one word.
Yeah, counts as one.
Oh, West Sonoma County Union High School District is one word?
Yes.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Thank you, Tony. We want to get this right. Okay, so, and Trustee Lewis, you're willing to amend your second?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, guys. All right. And Karen, can I ask that once you get that language changed, would you send it back to Tony for Tony's eyes to catch it one more time to be sure? Thank you so much.
I will.
Good. All right. Do we need to read this one more time for everybody to be sure they're good? Yes, no? Okay. All right, fantastic. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. It's been amended and seconded with that amendment. And I think we're good for a roll call vote. Diane Landry.
Aye.
Angie Lewis.
Aye.
Ted Walker.
Aye.
Kelly Noe.
Aye.
Jeannie Fernandez, aye. Jeannie Broom.
Aye.
And Satori McCullough.
Aye.
Fantastic. Okay. I think we're good. Everybody all good? Let me look at my agenda really quick.
And you want to let people know that we're actually canceling our December 9th meeting and combining that because we didn't have that many agenda items.
Exactly, yes. Just so the public is aware, we are canceling our December 9th general meeting, and we are moving those agenda items to our reorganization meeting on December 16th instead. And that way we can combine all of the items from both of the meetings into one meeting. We all feel and have felt that we've had an awful lot of meetings, and cutting down a meeting in December we thought was a great idea. I could not agree more. So the next time we all will see you, we will be discussing our first interim budget. We will be considering approval of our board calendar. Karen, could I ask you to send that calendar out to all of us ahead of time and include the 2 new trustees so that we've all had a chance to look at it ahead of that meeting, so that if we have any issues or concerns, we can be sure we raise them then?
Sure.
Thank you so much. And then we will have a first reading of new board policy and administration regulations with regards to some construction accounting procedures. We will reorganize the board. We will have the oath of office for our newly elected board trustees, and we will select a voting representative for our county district organization committee. Also, are we going to still be looking at the CSBA items as well? Okay. We'll
Yes,
just have our quarterly.
We will also be discussing extension of the resolution to continue distance learning, because that resolution expires at the end of December. So we'll also be talking about that.
All righty, that's good to hear, or not. Anyway, so I just wanted to bring all of that forward so we know what's headed our way. And with that, I am going to adjourn this meeting unless anybody has anything else for the greater good. All righty, thank you, Greg, so much for being here. Thank you, Mariana, appreciate your help. And we will see each other in a couple of weeks. Bye.